Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV, and the Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news show.
If you have a news topic or tips you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show is live on Wednesday at noon and rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired on Saturday at noon, 3 and 6.
Coming up, bears, yes, more bears, more on bears, and the Gold King Mine and Superfund site.
And also weather, sheriff's report, and area happenings. Today is August 16th, 2017, and now the news at noon.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, 2 people from Arizona were injured Monday night after their automobile hit a bear on U.S. Highway 160 east of Mancos. Colorado State Patrol Captain Adrian Driscoll said the crash occurred about 10:37 p.m. on U.S. Highway 160 near Road J9, about 2 miles east of town. Charlotte Merrill, age 32, of Arizona, apparently crashed her Lexus into a bear that was crossing the highway. The bear was found dead at the scene, and Merrill and a passenger were transported to Southwest Memorial Hospital with minor injuries. Colorado Parks and Wildlife officers collected the bear, Driscoll said. This was the latest of several recent bear sightings in Montezuma County. Montezuma County Sheriff's deputies have been conducting extra patrols in the Dolores area for several weeks to scare away bears that come into town to eat trash out of the residents' dumpsters. And Mesa Verde National Park is starting a volunteer program to educate visitors about bear safety. Other bear sightings this year have not resulted in reported cat injuries, though the animals have caused some property damage.
According to the Cortez Journal, to protect people and bears, the Dolores Town Board passed an emergency ordinance Monday requiring bear-resistant trash containers for all residents and businesses. Since the beginning of July, 5 bears have been raiding trash bins in town, according to Montezuma County Sheriff Steve Nowlin, and officials want to stop the habit before it becomes a bigger problem. He said about 5 different bears have learned when trash day is and come into town around 2 a.m. Wednesdays to feed from garbage containers. Nowlin and his deputies have responded to nighttime calls and chasing bears off, sometimes using rubber bullets and deploying stun guns. Residents have been waking up to trash-strewn streets over the past several weeks. Nowlin said once they realize they can't get into the trash, they'll stop coming. A spring freeze damaged the wild acorn crop, a major food source for black bears, and bears are looking for alternative calories to gain the weight needed for hibernation. Waste Management, the main trash service in town, has agreed to provide residents and businesses with bear-resistant containers, said route manager John Foster, but customers have to order them. They'll cost $10. Waste Management will also provide bear-resistant commercial dumpsters that have a locking bar for businesses and restaurants, but the price on that is still being worked out. Foster said, "We understand the problem and our solutions have shown to be effective," adding that orders for the new containers will be filled as quickly as possible. The new container use metal cables to secure the lid. The cable is easy for residents to attach, and the simple system is convenient for garbage collectors. Residents should not use their own designs for bear-proofing the containers, Foster said. Bears have been knocking off tires put on containers, and tie-down straps and bungee cords have also been breached. The ordinance will take effect this Friday after it is posted in the Journal's legal notices section. However, residents will have a couple of weeks to comply before citations are issued at the end of August. Town Attorney Mike Green said it's a change for residents but necessary. He added that the penalty is a fine of up to $499 and possible jail time. Officials warned residents not to shoot at or chase bears that get into trash. Call 911 to report a problem bear. And to order a bear-resistant container, call John Foster, 970-565-3860.
According to the Cortez Journal, a 22-year-old Durango woman who is suspected of distracted driving after she struck a bicyclist on North Main Avenue last week has been cited with careless driving causing bodily injury, a Class 1 misdemeanor. Jessica Durbin also was cited with failure to present evidence of insurance, according to Durango Police Commander Ray Shoup. The charges were filed Friday, Shoup said. A court date has not been set. About 5:30 a.m. August 7th, Durbin was driving south on Main Avenue in the left lane when she drifted into the right lane and into the bicycle lane, striking a bicyclist on the 3600 block. Alcohol and drugs are not suspected in the incident. but investigators believe Durbin was reaching for something on the floor when she crossed two lanes. The bicyclist, 63-year-old Christopher Balcunas of Durango, was airlifted to St. Mary's Hospital in Grand Junction in critical condition. As of Monday, he was listed in fair condition. Marco Ward, a longtime friend, said he visited Balcunas on Tuesday. He said Balcunas did not suffer brain injuries, but did suffer a skull fracture.
From the Durango Herald, a district court judge on Tuesday lowered bail for Mark Redwine, the man accused of killing his son Dylan, from $1 million cash only to $750,000 cash surety, meaning he can post bail through a bail bondsman. Even working through a bondsman, Redwine must come up with about $112,500 to be let go. Redwine's public defenders are Justin Bogan and John Moran. He answered routine questions about whether he understood the charges against him and his rights by saying, "I do." The right side of the courtroom gallery behind the prosecutor was packed with Dylan's family, courthouse staff, lawyers, investigators, and about a dozen sheriff's deputies. Dylan's mother, Elaine Hall, and Dylan's older brother, Corey Redwine, both made brief statements asking that bail be left at $1 million cash only. They said Redwine's behavior has become increasingly erratic in recent years. It was Redwine's initial court appearance in 6th Judicial District Court in La Plata County. District Judge Jeffrey Wilson advised Redwine of his rights and pending charges. Redwine, age 55, is suspected of killing his 13-year-old son Dylan in November of 2012. A grand jury issued an indictment last month accusing him of second-degree murder and child abuse resulting in death. He faces 16 to 48 years in prison if convicted on either count. His defense lawyers portrayed Redwine as a victim who lost his son and family and has endured hatred from his community. He has been under a, quote, cloud of suspicion since day one, yet he has never tried to flee. He keeps to himself, he works as a long-haul trucker, and he has maintained his innocence, Moran said. This grieving father lost his son and has been falsely accused of killing him, Moran said. He asked the court to treat Redwine as innocent until proven guilty, saying the case against him is not strong. If it was, it wouldn't have taken nearly 5 years, 2 sheriffs, and 2 district attorneys to secure an indictment, he said. District Attorney Christian Champagne said society deems Redwine's crimes as some of the most heinous. Redwine has a temper and has been known to lash out at people who speak to him about the case. The DA said, "We have reason to believe Mr. Redwine is a flight risk. This man's crime is terrible. It shows his character." Redwine has a relatively minor criminal history, including disorderly conduct, theft, and a burglary case that was dismissed. One of his cases involved allegations of child abuse, Champagne said. Judge Wilson said he's concerned about the community's safety and Redwine being a flight risk, in part because he has spent most of his time outside La Plata County in recent years. Redwine was arrested July 21st in Bellingham, Washington. He eventually waived his rights to an extradition hearing, which allowed the La Plata County Sheriff's Office to retrieve him and bring him back to Colorado. According to the indictment, Dylan's blood was found in Redwine's living room, and a cadaver-sniffing dog detected the scent of a deceased body in Redwine's living room, washing machine, the bed of his pickup, and on the clothes Redwine reportedly wore the night Dylan went missing. Dylan's skull had injuries consistent with blunt force trauma in 2 locations. It also had 2 small markings consistent with knife markings, according to the indictment. Prosecutors have declined to discuss a motive in the case. According to the indictment, Dylan didn't want to visit his father and had argued with him during a previous visit. Dylan also had seen compromising pictures of his father and reportedly planned to confront his father about those pictures during their visit, according to the indictment. Prosecutors have declined to describe the contents of the photographs.
According to the Cortez Journal, the U.S. Small Business Administration has approved Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper's request for assistance following the destruction of Western Excelsior Corporation plant in May. The Montezuma County and Mancos governments declared an economic disaster in June after the plant burned down, putting more than 100 people out of work, and asked Hickenlooper to request assistance from the federal government. In a Friday news release, SBA spokesman Richard Jenkins announced the request had been approved in a federal disaster declaration. Low-interest, federally funded economic injury disaster loans will be available to small businesses affected by the fire in 7 counties in the Four Corners region. According to the release, business owners in the region can apply for loans of up to $2 million at 3.215% interest for small businesses and 2.5% interest for private nonprofit organizations. While many of Western Excelsior's former employees live in Montezuma County, the plant also employed workers and contractors throughout the region. Consequently, the disaster declaration includes Montezuma, Dolores, La Plata, and San Juan counties in Colorado, Apache County in Arizona, San Juan County in New Mexico, and San Juan County in Utah. The loans will be available to small non-farming businesses, small agricultural cooperatives, and private nonprofit organizations of any size, according to the release. Small businesses in the region can apply for the loans through the SBA website at disasterloan.sba.gov/ELA. The Southwest Colorado Small Business Development Center will also offer free counseling for affected businesses, according to the release. The deadline for loan applications is May 10th, 2018. And now let's take a look at the weather.
In our regional weather, a cold front has progressed eastward to the Great Plains, leaving cool and dry northwesterly flow in its wake. This cooler air mass will keep temperatures a few degrees below normal today and tomorrow. Another trough drops northwest to southeast into the region tonight, but we're not anticipating any moisture with this trough. Therefore, this pattern will only increase winds slightly and reinforce the cooler air overnight. Great sleeping weather. On Thursday, the long wave trough pattern finally moves off to the east and high pressure begins to amplify across the southwestern U.S. So that means temperatures will rebound to near normal for this time of year. Friday, as the high pressure axis becomes centered over the Four Corners. On Saturday, a long wave trough moves onshore the Pacific Northwest and will amplify over the west coast. As this occurs, the ridge axis will move eastward and allow for an increase in moisture from the Gulf. And then over the Four Corners will be near 1 inch of PWATS, which is for precipitation, by late Sunday and into Monday. This will likely bring cloud cover to the Four Corners and northward along the Utah-Colorado border. So there may be chances of entertaining afternoon shower and thunderstorm activity increasing early next week. Nationally, there is a slight risk of severe thunderstorm over parts of the Middle Mississippi Valley and Central Plains. Heavy rain is possible over parts of the Upper Great Lakes and the Upper Mississippi Valley. Heavy rain possible over parts of the Central Plains. A storm over parts of the Central Plains will be moving northeastward to the Upper Great Lakes by Thursday evening. The system will produce showers and thunderstorms over parts of the plains and parts of the Middle Mississippi Valley that will move eastward to the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and into the Lower Mississippi Valley by Thursday. In addition, showers and thunderstorms will develop along and near the associated warm front over parts of the Tennessee Valley that will slowly expand eastward into the Mid-Atlantic overnight Wednesday. Meanwhile, moisture-rich air over the southeast and the eastern Gulf Coast, along with daytime heating, will aid in producing showers and thunderstorms over the region on Wednesday and Thursday late afternoon and into the evening. Additionally, weak upper-level energy over the northern high plains will aid in producing showers and thunderstorms over parts of the northern central high plains on Thursday evening. And here locally, Dove Creek area 5-day forecast shows highs in the low 80s throughout the week and into the weekend, with lows in the mid to lower 50s on the overnights. With partly to mostly sunny days ahead as we head into the start of Dolores County School opening next week, the weather looks to be cooperating to have one last happy summer weekend. Be sure to enjoy the eclipse event Monday, 8/21. It begins at 10:23 a.m. Denver Mountain Time, peaks around 11:15 a.m., and will be done by 1:14 p.m. for a total of 2 hours and 51 minutes. Be sure to keep the safety for you and your children's eyesight in mind. And now, back to the news.
Reported by the Durango Herald, Centura Health announced Tuesday it is investigating a case of a missing external hard drive that contained medical records of Mercy Family Medicine patients seen between August 1st and October 3rd, 2012. In June, former patients of Durango Family Medicine were alerted of the breach of private health information, which could include medical conditions, medications, and social histories, among other information. Durango Family Medicine health providers in 2012 became employees at Mercy Regional Medical Center for Mercy Family Medicine, and the old records were stored onto an external hard drive. On June 21st, Centura Health became aware that the hard drive also contained some information related to patient visits when that transition was happening, a news release said Tuesday. The information on the hard drive, which was discovered missing April 7th, did not include social security numbers or credit card or bank account information, the news release said. On August 8th, Centura Health mailed a letter of notification to potentially affected patients. Centura Health claims there is no evidence the information on the hard drive was seen or was used or seen. Centura Health said it has filed a police report and asked Durango Family Medicine to return or destroy Mercy Family's portion of visits from hard drives and no longer store hard drives at the Mercy location.
From the Durango Herald, about 30 educators, administrators, and parents gathered Monday night in Ignacio with the Colorado Department of Education to discuss ways to attract young people to work in education. The meeting was one in a series of meetings the state departments of education and higher education are hosting throughout the state as Colorado faces a teacher shortage. According to Mary Bivens, Director of Educator Development with the Colorado Department of Education, the number of college students graduating with education degrees, as well as those interested in the field, has been steadily falling since 2010. Among areas facing personnel shortages are secondary math and science, special education, bilingual education, and speech pathologists. The series of statewide meetings came about after a state law sponsored by Representative Barbara McLaughlin, Democrat from Durango, and Senator Don Coram, Republican from Montrose, was passed this year to require the education departments to develop action plans to resolve teacher shortages. Shortages are more prominent in districts in rural Colorado, but suburban and urban districts are likely to begin experiencing them as well. CDE research said several key issues that keep people from being interested in the education field include external perceptions of what teachers do and how they work, limited salaries for new educators, and increasing costs of a college degree. Retention also is an issue, according to the research. In Colorado, nearly 25% of teachers leave the profession in the first 4 years. The reasons most cited for leaving are building climate and relationships, poor pay, and large workload.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, some rural internet customers in southwest Colorado may pay for internet speeds that they don't experience. To help advocate for funding to pay for improved rural broadband internet infrastructure at the state and federal levels, the Southwest Colorado Council of Governments encourages residents to take the state's internet speed test until the end of the month, said Miriam Gillow-Wiles, Executive Director of the Council. Local governments from Montezuma, Archuleta, Dolores, La Plata, and San Juan counties are members of the council, which works on regional issues. It will help with the legislative process, Gillow-Wiles said of the data. Rural residents are encouraged to test speeds where data is more difficult to collect, she said. Internet users should try to test their internet during peak use times between 5 and 9 p.m. when internet speeds slow down and times when faster internet may be available. The council collects the data through the state's website. All of the personal data submitted is protected. The test doesn't ask for your name or other identifying information aside from an address, she said. The council was also recently approved to provide state tax credits to donors who want to contribute to the construction infrastructure for internet. A regional strategic broadband plan found the 5-county region needs $55 to $60 million for trenching, conduit, fiber easements, permitting, and engineering to improve internet service, a news release said. The new fiber will be open, so any company will be able to lease it once it is complete. A tax credit is available to property owners in economically distressed areas who donate right-of-way for fiber. The credits could also spur partnerships between the council and private communications companies interested in partnering on the project, she said. The tax incentives will be available until 2022.
From the Cortez Journal, what should the Environmental Protection Agency's recently declared Superfund listing on 48 mining-related sites around Silverton accomplish over the next several years? Well, that is the question a newly formed Citizens Committee hopes to address at its first meeting next week. Peter Butler of the Animas River Stakeholders Group said the Superfund site, is going to be a fairly long-term, big-dollar effort up there. We just feel like it was important that the local community put some thought on how this money is spent and what we expect to get out of it. 4 local watershed groups, Animas River Stakeholders Group, the Animas River Community Forum, Animas Watershed Partnership, and Trout Unlimited, are leading the effort with the intent to create a formal set of goals to present to the EPA. Almost 1 year ago, the EPA formally listed the Bonita Peak Mining District Superfund site in the Upper Animas River Basin in an effort to reduce heavy metal loading from inactive of mines responsible for degrading water quality. The designation came just a year after the August 2015 Gold King mine spill, which sent an estimated 3 million gallons of mined wastewater down the Animas and San Juan rivers. The spill was triggered by EPA contractors working on the mine. One of the EPA's main selling points to the Silverton and Durango communities was a promise that local input would be valued and taken into account in the planning process. The EPA has been noted for living up to its words so far. It has held community meetings regularly in Silverton and Durango, as well as Farmington, and has met with locally elected officials on a regular basis. But some local officials say it is essential to influence the EPA's plan early on to address the plan to clean up such a widespread Superfund site that is estimated to take anywhere from 20 to 30 years to complete. The Citizens Superfund Work Group is designed to provide a forum outside of EPA's periodic public outreach efforts for the community to better understand the issues involved in the cleanup and to develop outcomes or goals the community would like to see given enormous effort that will be put into this Superfund site. The EPA does have a formal process for local input through what the agency calls a citizen advisory group, which is typically driven by local efforts and is made up of a diverse range of local interests. Butler said the upcoming Citizens Superfund Work Group is not such a group at this point, but could turn into one. The group will hold its first meeting in August and then take a tour of mine sites on September 9th. Other meetings will be scheduled in October, January, and February. The group hopes to draft recommendations to EPA in February of 2018.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of August 7th through the 13th. Residents are reminded that though we have no current fire restrictions in Dolores County, it is unsafe for your burn to go unattended. To report your controlled burn, town residents should contact the town office at 677-2255. All county residents should contact the Dolores County Sheriff's Office at 677-2257. Dispatch received a report of harassment by a local resident. Case is under investigation. A deputy investigated a report of the theft of hay by a local resident. The case is also under investigation. Dolores County Sheriff's Office was notified of a hiker who was struck by lightning in the Rico area. The hiker was pronounced dead at the scene. A county resident called stating that her mother was missing. The mother was later found doing well. A call was received about a disturbance at a residence in the county. An officer responded and everything was okay. A resident called stating that cows were out in the neighbor's yard. The owner was contacted and asked to remove the cows from the property. That's it for this week's Roundup. Stay tuned for continuing updates.
Here's today's High Canyon Country happenings. Thursday, August 17th, the Dolores County Community Health Clinic is hosting an open house here in Dove Creek, offering hot dogs and drinks and tours of the facility. Meet new faces and get acquainted with this valuable service in our hometown. And of course, you may know the first annual Three Sisters Ag Fest is happening this Saturday, August 19th at the Dolores County Fairgrounds. The Greater Dove Creek Chamber of Commerce is hosting this event, soon to be a traditional event, agriculturally centered. There will be food, fun, and free music. Gates open at 11. Music runs from 1 to 4 p.m. Enter your biggest zucchini or a favorite zucchini-based sweet or savory dish, or participate in the potato gun cannon-style way to launch a zucchini for distance or accuracy for cash and prizes. Free to enter the fairgrounds. The launch registration is $5 per team or individual. Bring your own launcher, and there are a few days left to make one from scratch. All info is available online at dovecreekchamber.com or on their Facebook page. All of the happenings are posted up on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, which we just hit 100 likes today, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. It's dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 677-4119, and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs live at noon Monday through Wednesday and then rebroadcasts at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 3, and 6.
And again, please be sure to check us out on Facebook. It's DCTV News at Noon. Like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.